Space, the final frontier.
Welcome to the Hollywood Scholar. I'm Jed Morgan, and as someone who at least strives to be an academic of sorts, I'm always interested in the pushing forward of science and the exploration of the universe and space travel especially. You can't be a nerd and not be interested in space travel. So even though this video I don't think will do as well as many of my others have, and not a whole lot of people are interested, I definitely felt like I wanted to check out this new article that has some great tie-ins to Star Trek. So let's just take a quick look. So scientists take a step towards building a real-life warp engine by accident. And stories like these, I feel like, are just really positive and really cool to talk about how a lot of the greatest revolutionary sciences were done on accident or after decades of research. Like, it's not an easy thing. It's either not easy or accidental, and I think that's kind of funny. And so as a nerd who strives to be academic, I love stories like this where I can learn a little bit about the science behind such techniques. And a real-life warp drive, I would do so much that I would probably go to jail for. There's a lot of things I would do to potentially have a life where warp drive is possible and where I could live a life like they did in Star Trek, even though it probably won't happen in my lifetime or for many centuries to come. It's just fascinating to think about, and it makes me incredibly hopeful for our future. Despite all the negativity that's in the world, there's still an air of hope when it comes to our future, when it comes to space travel, when it comes to what Tesla, especially Elon Musk, is doing with SpaceX. If Elon Musk came to me right now and pointed up into the night sky and said, pick a star, then you'll fly that way till you die, I would 100% leave Earth for the rest of my life and just fly towards that star, even if it meant I'd never come home. I'd do that in a heartbeat. I don't care where we're going. As a fan of Doctor Who and Star Trek, it's the final frontier. As someone who grew up on adventure frontier books growing up with the Louis L'Amour books, the idea of exploring an undiscovered country and making revolutionary steps in that area is so ingrained in my character that it would mean the world to me. So let's get into this. Some of the technobabble I may not understand or pronounce correctly, and you may not understand, so we're going to do our very best to understand what they're talking about, where this warp drive came about by accident. But there's still a long way to go before they reach that stage. Of course, it's not going to happen in my lifetime, I don't believe anyway. A team of physicists has reported the accidental discovery of a real-world warp engine, a warp bubble. Oh, that's actually really important. For those of you who don't know Star Trek, you're put inside a warp bubble, and that bubble can enter subspace, I believe is what it is. And so they're not technically traveling faster than the speed of light because that's considered impossible. But if they're making a real-world warp bubble, that will go a really long way to making warp drives possible. While observing the structure of Casimir cavities, I don't know what that is, but a small step towards building a potential warp drive. The debrief reports that Dr. Harold G. Sony White and his team stumbled upon the existence of a warp bubble while conducting DARPA-funded research into the Casimir cavities and the energy density present in those structures. White acknowledged the significance of the fluke findings, but asserted that it was only a small step towards forward in regards to actually building a warp drive. If you're even on the first step, that's fucking awesome. Our detailed numerical analysis of our custom Casimir cavities helped us identify a real and manufacturable nano microstructure that is predicted to generate a negative vacuum energy density that is such that it would manifest a real nanoscale warp bubble. Not an analog, but the real thing, White explained in a statement to the publication. I hope most of you got all that technobabble. I had difficulty understanding it, but it's pretty cool to think about. He emphasized that the findings recorded by his LSI team centered around a real, albeit humble and tiny warp bubble. Even if it's microscopic, they were talking about nano size. That's pretty cool. And confirmed that the structure predicts negative energy density distribution that closely matches requirements for the metric, hence the significance of the observation. A real-life warp drive was suggested in 1994, really that long ago, by Mexican physicist Miguel Alcubierre. However, subsequent calculations found that such a device would require prohibitive amounts of energy. Yeah. It would take a lot of power to do what warp drives do in Star Trek. And so, yeah, that seems like the end of it. Previous reports suggested that Star Trek warp drive. So, yeah, of all the science fiction genres out there, it seems that Star Trek is the most scientifically plausible, let's say, in a lot of areas. And that warp drive is very much a potential for the coming future. And that it's just a really cool thing to think about and makes me hopeful for our future despite the apparent lull and the oppression that pervades through the world when it comes to thinking about our future as a society. But stuff like this it makes everything else seem small, everything else seem unimportant, and I think we really need that these days. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you guys are interested in space travel, if you think this is a cool step forward, if you'd be as crazy as me and just point out a random star and travel that way till you die. Most people think I'm insane when I say that, but that's all I have for today. So if you'd please like, share, and subscribe, I will see you on the next video. Anon. If you like what I do here and want to see good, compelling stories that Hollywood will no longer give you, check out my book series, Odyssey of a Phoenix, a mythological epic about philosophy, morality, and modern-day mental illness issues. Books 1, Down in Flames, and Book 2, Apocalypse Then, currently on sale. Book 3, Kill the Dark, coming soon.